You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
Good work, Tony. You were right on it. I appreciate that the job has been made more difficult for you today. It is unwieldy. That thing also looks heavy on your head. Is it also heavy? I'm reminded of the movie Pop Star, the DJ having the difficulties with the head because it was too heavy.
So it's not that it's heavy. It's that the neck hole is kind of like going around. So the problem is it doesn't have a place for your chin to sit. So inside of my teeth right here that obviously you can't see, there's like a steel grate. And the problem is my chin rubs against the steel grate part, and it kind of hurts.
Put it on the poll, please, because the comedy has kind of died a little bit here. Is Pop Star one of the great comedies of the last 10 years? Yes or no? Because I don't know whether it's regarded that way, but I think it would be.
That better come in at 100%, yes.
I think it has to be. Like, I think it is so well done that I do believe that it's something that should endure, but I don't think it's going to be remembered as one of the great comedies.
No, number one is House of Gucci.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
I thought it was The Lighthouse.
That one's a laugh riot, too.
It is great.
All right, 1 and 2.
I want to talk, Stugotz, about what is happening in the NFL that I think is smart. And if the player empowerment is somehow going to leak into football, where the bodies are really disposable, and they can make from one year to the next running backs disposable according to money. If it's going to be like that, then of course the powerful player, the star player in that sport who has value will also manipulate the system in order to get where he wants to get to and do the work the way that he wants to do the work. So I've told you how much I enjoy that Jadeveon Clowney every year just skips training camp, just negotiates so that he doesn't have to go through all those practices and says, hey, I'll get there when I get there, and I'll get to the quarterback in 2.4 seconds all season because I want to do it my way and I don't want to get hurt, and my body is my economy and I need to protect it. But I just saw this happen with Shaq Leonard. I'm like, why doesn't he get with a team? First of all, the coldness of how Shaq Leonard left the Colts. He's given out turkeys in the community as a multi-time Pro Bowler there, and they wave him while he's giving out the turkeys. He's hurt by it, and the reason they're waving him is because his body's hurt. His body's not as explosive as it was because football's done that to him.
That's a bad time to wave someone, though. You can't have him go out in the community, hand out turkeys to people in need, and then cut him while he's doing it. Terrible job.
Stugotz, you came up with the single most obvious point anyone could have.
I just wanted to point it out. I mean, what a terrible job of the Colts.
Someone had to.
Yeah. I mean, geez.
It's true.
Call someone out.
The reason I brought it up because, yes, it's terrible and everyone can agree with it. Like, that's truly terrible timing.
I just wanted to hammer home the point.
You know what? Let me do it differently. To give you another chance so it can be even better. You're not going to believe this, Stugotz, but Shaq Leonard, while he was in the delivery room, the birth of his child, he is cradling his baby, and the Colts called him and told him he was cut.
You know what? That is such a terrible job by Jim Irsay and the Colts. I mean, you are about to give birth, give life to someone, and you kill someone's career? You can't do that. What a terrible job by the Colts. They should be ashamed of themselves.
Well, they didn't kill his career because what he did is the Cowboys and Eagles wanted him, and so he spent 2 weeks not playing and negotiating with them so he could get the best deal. And the Eagles are now the expendables. They have 8 defensive linemen, Stugotz, that they've been rotating for a few seasons, and that pass rush is so good, at least because they can bring the fresh, not broken guys or the less broken guys in with Fletcher Coxes, who have been there for 180-some-odd games.
They also have this great strategy where they draft guys from Georgia.
That also helps. That is that's why their GM is considered a genius. That helps as well. Yeah. But the latest player that they're talking about joining them is Ndamukong Suh, who hasn't played all season, played for them last year, and basically at this point in his career, I mean, he won a championship with Tom Brady. At this point in his career, Ndamukong Suh is going to decide where and when he wrecks his body for how many games, at what time of the season, how hard he practices, and you really have with the Eagles and throughout football. If the bodies are going to be that disposable, the guys who have some remaining power left are going to say, okay, I'll sell you my body at this price, but it's only going to be for 6 weeks. I'm not going to do it. I'm not buying in on everything you guys are doing. I'll be a mercenary and only that.
Frank Zappa.
Not bad.
Is that better than Gene Shalit? All right, put it on the poll,
Or the
please.
guy from Ghost.
Put it on the, which one?
The coin guy.
Oh, that's Jeff Van Gundy. Willie Lopez.
I would like, Juju, for you to put photographs of all these people on a poll and ask them who I look most like, please, at Le Batard Show, because my vote is for Gene Shalit, but you're doing well. Are you engaging the YouTube community on this? Because I would like this to be slightly more interactive with our community. If they have any nominees, someone should be monitoring the YouTube. In fact, Tony, I would love if you were like our social media coordinator who monitored the YouTube while wearing that ridiculous mouse head and told me what the good stuff was on the YouTube comment. Like, sift through it and find the 2% that's not poisonous acid.
Dan, I was trying to actually look up the Shaq Leonard deal, and I realized I had to sit this close to the screen because I can't really see. So right now he's in a 1-year, $1.08 million deal.
That'll make you perfect for
the best
job.
part is that Tony's not taking it off during the breaks, and I just saw him like responding to a text last break. And it was just funny watching him like look at his phone.
I have to hold it really close to my face, like right around here is good.
Yeah, that at 2%, huh?
It's not even that good, probably. No, internet. Okay, put that on the poll as well, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Can you find even 2% of positive commentary on the internet? Power helpful, not even positive. No, don't. It doesn't. Look, I know you're going to say no to positive. How about just a helpful commentary?
Should have went Tank Zappa, considering that he's more slender.
Could I add Joseph Stalin to the mix?
Whoa! Why are you bringing politics into this?
I'm not. I'm bringing a mustache into it.
Yep.
This is, look, Jeremy might be more political than anyone around here.
That's right.
He wants to do a show with George Santos. Him and Mike are arguing off air about we need to get George Santos for a podcast, and Mike, that liberal snowflake, and Jeremy, this
Also a liberal snowflake.
Also a liberal snowflake who apparently likes George Santos because the lies are so transparent that he's morphing into Stugotz right in front of our eyes.
Hey.
That's exactly it. George Santos is the funniest person in America, maybe in the world. I think that these lies, he lied about being Jewish for no reason. I believe in his statement for Dianne Feinstein's passing is how he announced that he had a husband. Like, he is straight up the funniest person in the world, and I don't understand why we wouldn't give him a giant platform to continue to spew lies. We already have Stugotz.
He's on Cameo. I mean,
Yeah,
he is.
and
he said he was Jewish to please the Jews in that room.
Correct.
He changes based on what room he's in.
Yes,
That's
correct.
it.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'll concede that it is funny, but I think the greater problem that I have with us all laughing at George Santos now is it's indicative of like the big plague of American politics right now, in which you can be shameless. You're not governed by shame. And I think if you double down on how funny George Santos is, or you fund his legal defense team by getting a cameo, you continue to normalize people that represented a party and a party line, because not all Republicans are January 6th insurrectionists, but a lot of them are, and a lot of them end up on Dancing with the Stars or running for president again, and it's all so normalized. These people should be ostracized from normal society. We shouldn't be funding their legal defense. This is shameful behavior that we reward, and after the fact, make a punchline. It's pretty serious what's happening in November, and I'm just not down with all laughing at it. However, it is funny with George Santos, and I'm willing to make that one exception. But please, let it stop there.
Dan, somebody in the chat says you look like Gallagher.
Also, yes, Gallagher. Thank you, Tony.
Gallagher's
Excellent
brother.
work.
Yeah.
Gallagher's brother did hit I think Gallagher's brother did become Gallagher too. I think once Gallagher's career was over, his brother just took over the act as Gallagher's
like
pretending.
the number 2 or
That's
TLO?
a heady play.
No, that's a good question, Chris, because I believe he was touring the world as Gallagher, but not because he was his brother. He wasn't actually Gallagher, but in a place where politics, Tony, I can't tell from your face. Did you want to talk again?
I was going to say kind of like The Prestige.
Yeah, I wish you hadn't said it.
I mean, File. Great film.
You went to him.
Stugotz, I know, because it looked like he wanted to go, but he's been
The eyes
raising
were
his
green?
hand, but now the computer is in his hand and the eyes were red. So I was confused by the mixed messaging. I have in front of me, Stugotz, though, speaking of politics, a series of details about Chris Christie's niece.
Okay.
And since we're already here, Shannon Epstein was charged. I was reading the details, and they kept getting better and they kept getting worse. Shannon Epstein, 26, was charged with 1 felony resisting police by force and 2 misdemeanor counts of disturbing the peace by public intoxication in connection with an incident on Thanksgiving, November 24th, 2022, on an airplane. The saga began aboard a Spirit Airlines plane as it taxied to the runway at New Orleans International Airport, according to NOLA.com. Now, that sentence right there, Stugotz, is per square foot where you find more drunkenness than anywhere in America. Spirit Airlines headed in and out of New Orleans.
Anything can happen. I mean,
Anything.
seriously, yes.
Anything. And then when Epstein allegedly asked a Hispanic family seated nearby if they were smuggling cocaine. After being booted off the aircraft, Epstein allegedly screamed at airline employees and refused to leave the jet bridge. The Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office said it eventually took 7 deputies to restrain Epstein, who had to be strapped to a wheelchair. She allegedly bit, spat at, and kicked the deputies as she ranted about knowing Donald Trump, threatening the deputies' jobs, and saying, "Do you know who I am? I'm Chris Christie's daughter, and you're so bleeped."
And the lead deputy in that case, George Santos.
Go sit in the penalty box.
Oh, wow. Deserved it.
He's polluting everybody around here with his desire to get Santos on the air, even though it's dangerous. You will do anything for clicks, Taché. It's why you're an Emmy winner.
He is not dangerous. He didn't have any real power. He's just funny. We can't find the funny. Please. It's all effed anyway. The ship has sailed, Captain Hook.
Okay, but which part of Get Out of Here did you not understand? That felt a little bit like a mutiny, and you do not want this hook in your ass.
What?
Hell yeah.
Maybe you do.
Who wants a hook in their
I
ass?
don't know, man. Go look at the internet at things that.
Name a person.
No, you say this,
No,
but
let's not play that game.
go look at the internet.
I don't want to.
Go.
What happened there?
What just happened, Tony?
You can't see.
Tony, what did you break? What
Nothing.
happened?
No, my water bottle fell. My ear hit the water bottle. You can tell my ear's really big.
What a great sentence.
I was trying to look at something on the YouTube chat, but then I realized that there's a lot of space up here. So as I tried to lean in,
All right, you stay on this, even though we're not even. I want you to keep. This is what I want you to do, okay? Because we're not going to be live anymore in a second. So the YouTube chat's not going to be live, but I want you to stay in there looking for nuggets throughout, even though no one's there.
As we wrap up our live, let me tease something. We've got a huge secret announcement coming up later in the show. Hey, it's Mike, and I want to motivate you to make Miller Lite a part of your football watching experience. Here's the pitch. It's got only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12-ounce serving. With a smooth taste and a crisp, clean finish, you get the taste that you crave without the calories. And, football fans, I can assure you, from personal experience, there is no other light beer, not on this wonderful planet of ours, that goes with football quite like Miller Lite. Make football time Miller time. No matter what team you're rooting for, there is one thing we can all agree on. Miller Lite and football bring us all together. So, I want you to take my advice and make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Kentucky Fried Chicken's 2 for $5 wraps are back. And they're even introducing a new mac and cheese chicken wrap. Are you kidding me? Mac and cheese in a wrap? Two of my favorite things in the entire world. That is in addition to the classic and spicy slaw wraps. Creamy mac and cheese, a hand-breaded crispy chicken tender, and 3 cheese blend, all wrapped in a pillowy tortilla. God, do I love a pillowy tortilla. Order ahead on the app and cheer on tasty goodness with KFC's 2 for $5 wraps. It's finger looking good.
Don Le Batard.
God doesn't even know what this list is.
He was ahead of Tom Brady, who also won a playoff game.
A couple, yeah. That was literally the most confusing list we've ever done.
Tebow's got a better shot of coming back.
Give him a chance. He's got more lyrics.
I'm mad.
I'm angry.
I
want to leave.
Stugotz.
This would have been your day. This should be. You should own the sports media landscape now.
I am. Top 7 guys. I would not want the Jets.
No. You. No. No, I'm not allowing it.
Give him a chance, guys.
No, I'm not giving him a chance. I'm giving him 20 years.
Carson Wentz.
I've given him my prime.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Stugotz still has a smile on his face because he is made happier when others serve their punishments. He's not great at serving his.
What do you mean?
But he enjoys when the segment is about to start and all of us are putting our headsets on and Tony is fumbling around with his head, his mouse head. And it, just so I can explain this to the audience, because I don't know, because I'm an old person, Dead Mouse 5 or whatever, that it...
Oh boy,
you're so old.
It's just Dead Mouse.
I know. He plays.
I can understand the confusion.
It's a 5 instead of an S.
He DJs at Live. I look. I'm this part of it. I'm done trying to conceal. Okay, I don't know why it is that person is popular beyond being a DJ who wears. Do people know what he actually looks like?
Yeah.
So the celebrity is just, it's not always costumed. It's not like...
he's now unmasked more often than he's masked, and putting on the mask is now more of a nostalgic bit.
Sounds like Aaron Rodgers.
Tony is trying to do the show this way, and there are legitimate difficulties with it. Stugotz, you'd think, would be mad because he can't see Tony's beautiful face, but he's not mad because he gets to laugh at Tony. But Tony, I now want to make fun of you underneath that head because I believe that all of us can accuse you of being simply a volume shooter when it comes to quarterbacks you love, that your evaluation of quarterbacks, and he might be ahead of the game here, Stugotz. 5 years from now, teams might just draft all 6 quarterbacks because it's such a valuable position.
It's what the Bears should do.
And they're going to get injured.
Yes.
So just draft 6 of them and see if you figure it out one time. But Tony, every time a quarterback plays on Sunday and doesn't look like Tim Boyle, Tony falls head over heels in love. It's like the guy who goes to the strip club and leaves every time falling in love. On Sundays, Tony finds any quarterback that completes 9 passes, and he's like, I'm in love. I can't help it.
This time it's different.
It's that you see something, right? And I'll get you guys to understand this point one time. All you need to see is a flicker of light.
That's it.
For there to be a spark.
She really likes me.
Okay? I told everybody in week 2 of Tony's top 5, take a look at Sam Howell. There's something there. He threw a very special pass to Brian Robinson. Sidearm, Dan, I know you remember that pass. It's because you were watching and you agreed with me.
She told me her real name.
Sidearm across his body, fit through through a window through 2 defenders, and I was like, keep an eye on Sam Howell. All of a sudden, commanders say, you know what? This is our guy. We're going to sell everybody. Sam Howell's our quarterback. And last week, on Monday, I told you when I gave you my all-squint team, hey, take a look at Jake Browning. If you squint, he kind of looks like Joe Burrow. And then all of a sudden, Mike, I have video evidence of Mike saying, yeah, the only thing that they're similar in is that they're white. All of a sudden, Mike likes Jake Browning.
She stayed after her shift.
And the initials.
I don't think it's the initials.
Browning,
yes, it is something they have in common.
Yeah, well, you also said that he had a similar swag. I don't think anyone has a swag like Joe Burrow.
I didn't say that. The announcer during the game said he had the same vibe.
Yeah, thank you for the correction.
Vibe check.
Browning looked good in college at Washington. His first NFL start was against a pretty good defense. But, yeah, I hope that Tony's game, as we all know, rec league basketball player, I certainly hope that his basketball game is more efficient than his QB evals because, yeah, he is a volume shooter when it comes to that. Say everybody is good, and then in the event that one of them actually catch on, he gets to be I was right guy about that.
So, do you guys want content or not? I could tell you one guy for the rest of the season and then just be boring. Or do you want every week
new guy
somebody
every week,
new?
Tony, you don't bore me. I don't want you to change. In fact, I'd like you to sink in deeper to this character, but I also don't want to ignore the fact that you're a volume shooter when it comes to this.
Everybody's a volume shooter in the content game, Mike. Nobody puts out just one thing and then lives for it the rest of their lives. Like, I do. Every single week, we make something happen on Tony's Top 5. We prop up a quarterback that needs propping up. And I think looking at back in 2012, Washington picked who? Robert Griffin and Kirk Cousins. So we're going to take both. We'll figure it out later, right? Great coaching staff that said that. I'm just telling you now, in 2023, keep an eye on a lot of quarterbacks because in the next 2 to 3 years, Aiden O'Connell might pop up somewhere.
He's a volume shooter. I'm just telling you, keep an eye on all the quarterbacks.
I can't wait for Tony's Top 5 later today where you're still stuck wearing that mask.
But Tony's right. San Fran did the same thing. They took Trey Lance. They took Brock Purdy. They figured it out. I mean, that's what you do. Just take quarterbacks, man. I've been saying it for years.
You have been.
Yeah.
At the end, Stugotz is going to win, and it's all going to be what Spencer Hall says, that America has always done the dumbest thing and then does something slightly less dumb. Football is that. Football is we won't go for it on 4th down, and now even Mike McCarthy is a renegade.
Yeah.
Like, it's so strange to see Mike McCarthy on 4th and 2.
Back on Browning, he looked.
Go! We're
confidence,
going for
yeah.
it.
That
No
is,
puns.
I'm so with Dan. That is, of all the coaches, the one where it's like he's faking it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be going for it
Well,
right now.
trust me, we'll all find out together when the games get more important.
Yeah, well,
it's easy to be 4th and 5 on my own 40 against the Commanders. Let's go.
This weekend against the Eagles. Let me see him do it. Yeah.
But we'll get tight on the road in the playoffs. It will.
When they're already saying that
Inevitably.
if he doesn't make a deep run, they say he's going to get fired. Like that is, and that's what it's. That's how your coach is going to have to play in the playoffs. Stugotz, my hat fell off again. Let me go get it.
What is a deep run? What does that constitute? Is that championship game? Is that Super Bowl?
It's different for every team.
I know you win the division. You have to win one home game to get to the championship game.
Jake the Snake vibes now from Dan.
That's a pretty good one, too. I think that's just hair, though. Jake the Snake.
That's hair and the stash. And the fact that you're next to a snake.
Hey.
Or that I'm wandering around through life with a snake draped around my neck.
Yeah.
Can we get Stugotz like draped around your
I
shoulders?
would love to be
Can you
draped around
replicate
your
this
neck.
photo?
Yes.
Can you take the hat off again, Dan? And Stugotz, can you pretend to be This is your pretty method when it comes to
I'll
this.
be a
Can
snake,
you be the
Mike,
snake?
yeah.
Wouldn't I have to carry him on my shoulders?
That's right.
Yeah,
Torture rack style.
Yeah, torture rack. Lex Luger's torture
Greg
rack.
Cody could do it.
So I'd have to get up. How much are you
Do it
weighing
sitting.
these
No,
days?
you can now. Well, I don't think that chair can. It barely holds Dan.
You want me to stand up with Stugotz on my shoulders and then
Already
sit
be
down?
standing and
I
have
think it's-
Stugotz try to climb
Isn't
on
there
your back.
a table to your left? He stands on the table kind of and drapes over you.
That table's a little flimsy.
Yeah.
I'm 155 right now.
No shot.
Yeah.
right.
In your bra.
All right, Mike. All right, let me do this then while I am trying to do this because this is going to take some sort of physical exertion.
Chris, go in there and help him.
But while we're doing this, I wish for you and Jeremy, please, to help me because I want to very badly embrace FSU as this show's team as a champion because FSU is really going through it right now, and I want to support what's happening at FSU in a way that's prolonged and over the next couple of weeks that we make a show of FSU has been wronged here and the Miami show is going to weirdly defend FSU.
Well, it is an eventful week for FSU for obvious reasons and not so obvious reasons. I don't know how deep into portal season our audience is or all the rumor and innuendo surrounding recruiting, but let's begin with the threatening of lawsuits and how their week is going just from a CFP perspective. There are calls to ban to boycott the Orange Bowl. The Orange Bowl. Wow, you did it.
Oh my God.
All right, I'll do the show like this for a while.
You can?
Yeah.
A while.
All right. So let me talk about the latest developments
155?
going on with FSU. Pat Payton.
How many cigarettes did you smoke this morning?
155.
So Patrick Payton is an edge rusher for FSU, a real good player. He posted on social media that he is entering the portal. And this is a type of player that you'd want to keep if you're FSU, especially a team that is losing so much talent in the next year. there's all sorts of rumors that it's an NIL problem, that the bag that he was expecting to be there wasn't there. This is a very dangerous and precarious situation to be in. For all the talk about John Ruiz and Miami and all that, they haven't given this ammunition to the masses. You don't have kids saying they're not getting paid. So, Jeremy, as you probably already know, being a UCF football fan, this is a really dangerous, slippery slope, and they can go from CFP contenders to it all unraveling.
Well, that's the thing with FSU is Mike Norvell obviously built something pretty special with this team this season, but so much of what's going on with the portal not only allows teams to get into the game of trying to get to the playoff whenever they're, building up a team through the transfer portal, but you also have the opportunity for teams to completely fall out of contention when, say, a quarterback graduates or moves on and the rest of your team is leaving via the portal. One of the funniest things, and it's not funny, but one of the funniest things that I saw in response to 247 tweeting out that Patrick Payton was heading into the portal was an FSU fan responding and saying, "This week has been like 100 September 11ths.
That's the right perspective, I think, right?
Come on.
From college football.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about Stugotz's breath.
What do you mean?
So bad.
You smell good.
I mean, come on, though. Yeah, it's breakfast time.
I know.
You smell like an ashtray.
155 heaters for breakfast.
What is that, Mike? 109 11s? Like, what are we doing?
Well, FSU fans are an emotional bunch, and I have to say they were wrong. They were wronged by the CFP. I think that they should be in the college football playoff.
And it's also hilarious.
It's the fan base that would be the funniest for this thing to happen to, considering how vocal they are on social media. Laying all the cards out on the table, my ties to the University of Miami and how that rivalry is with Florida State. I want to give as many qualifiers as I possibly can. I rate Mike Norvell. He proved a lot of people wrong. He developed Jordan Travis into a Heisman-worthy contender. The CFP told you how important he is. Jordan Travis notwithstanding, this is a team that was sort of built on a house of cards. Very heavy through the portal. Now, in this day and age, there's nothing wrong with that. You saw how you can microwave a national contender. However, when they all leave, you need to hit home runs right away. And you're off to a real bad start if Patrick Payton is leaving, because in recruiting and in portal season, perception is reality. It is a momentum game. And if they cannot come through and retain their players will see that and just totally cross them off a list. So this can turn real ugly real quick for Mike Norvell, who, again, I rate as a coach. That staff has proven in-game adjustments are great. They can develop the quarterback, but the rest of the roster, all portal guys pretty much. Very few roster development outside of a few exceptions. So this could go away real quickly, and that's unfortunate considering they don't even have the CFP to hold up as a reward for it.
I'm tired of FSU fans. I really am. Like, enough of FSU fans complaining, bitching, moaning about what's going on or what just happened to their team and their school. Get over it. Your quarterback got hurt. Then your backup quarterback got hurt. Now you're down to your third-string quarterback. The committee sat there and watched you score 3 points against a Louisville team in the ACC tournament. You know what? I want, in the ACC final, I want more committees. I want a committee to decide who makes it to the NFL playoffs. I do.
Thank God Dan picked his head up, because I thought he just got choked out.
Yeah, he looks like he's dead.
I mean, I do.
He's saying he's tired of FSU. I am physically and awfully tired right now, because I will tell you, Stugotz, during the pandemic, has gained 70 pounds.
Don Batard.
This is largely performative, but we need to establish at least some reasonable doubt. Yes, exactly.
I'm so done. Peace stories and Stugotz had to top everyone with a peace story where he pays more than you do.
Stugotz.
I always like leaving Dan on time. Because he's so vulnerable, I just unfairly fade down the chickens to just leave him by himself.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I am already, Mike, getting a whole lot of people who are criticizing me because I'm breathing too heavily into the microphone.
Yeah, and occasionally, if you listen real close, your body will make a sound like an anaconda digesting food.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's stress.
No, I've been seeing doctors.
Or sadness, gurgling.
This is what I imagine you look like after sex. Right now, what you look like.
Have you been doing a lot of imagining of that?
Never till now, but now I am. Only with the costumes.
Winded and, yes, crazed.
Apologizing.
You know it when you see it, yeah.
An animal in the frame.
Mm-hmm.
I have, yes, everything Mike said is so. It's funny because I'm trying badly to avoid a surgery. I don't want to have a surgery. And so.
Toughing it out, gutsy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like Tony.
And what's happened is that I'm making some sounds that are unpleasant every once in a while. But this, how I feel now, and the breathlessness of this particular segment only happens because, and Chris Cody, I'm going to need your help here because you're the one who put Stugotz on my shoulders.
I hurt my back.
That was hard. Like, he is not light anymore. He used to be, we could throw him around the studio and treat him like a stuffed animal. He is not a person who is light anymore. What you just threw on my back, this is the Steph Curry backpack Draymond Green fight. Like, it's what my life has felt like for 20 years, but never has it made me that winded to have it just happen that overtly on having the snake constrict my breathing is not something we've ever done quite like that, even though we've built the entire company around that.
I've lifted Stugotz before, and you are right. It felt like there was two of them.
Mm-hmm. How much weight do you think I've gained? Like 50?
I'm not throwing stones because I'm right there with you. But it's been a rough go of it for all of us.
You don't have to throw stones, but I just felt that what I'm telling you is that what I felt on my neck was a good deal heavier. If my eyes had been closed, if I could squint to see it, and you asked me who was on my shoulders, I would have said that's Whitlock.
Huh.
Like if I had to guess.
Right. I'll take it. I got to be honest.
Not
with
a compliment.
I don't know. I feel like I'm in worse shape than he is right now. I do. He's skinny. He lost some weight. I saw him recently.
What?
I did. Check it out.
Are we going to do
Concerned you're on that algorithm.
Are we going to do a decathlon? Stugotz, we've done so much damn work to make this an echo chamber. Get out of the algorithm.
I'm afraid to even Google him right now to find out because I don't want him in my algorithm.
I know how I got onto his algorithm. He had a great video taking out Deion Sanders on not knowing his backup center's name. I was like, whoa, this is making a lot of points. And then I'm like, damn, I hate my ally. How beta of him.
Stugotz, I wanted to ask you because I don't want to get too far from this because, I don't know, like, the way that we cover sports now is so poisonous and judgmental that LeBron and KD played yesterday in a marketing game that the NBA invented that is a huge amount of fun, and it's just great and amazing and artistic to see the Pacers care about beating the Celtics. Like the thing that's artistic
and
about
the Celtics not caring. I mean,
well, but
Celtics care. You're not watching.
Bigger fish to fry.
You're not. Yeah. Please admit to me you're not watching.
I'm
so
not.
I don't have, there you go.
I can
tell who's not watching by their takes on this.
It is fun, indisputably fun, and one of the fun things about it, and also funny, Jeremy, because this part is funny. You see how much the guys care in a way that you don't usually see during the regular season, and you see that it's at least in part because they can get the other guys on the bench some money that is real money. And all of a sudden, all you've added to the NBA is by throwing more money at the bench players. And by the way, if we talk about the collective bargaining agreement and where it is the players have gotten screwed here, it's largely because a lot of times in these meetings where Chris Paul is doing the arguing on behalf of his players, the decisions that get made, instead of being made for the value of the superstars, end up getting made for some of the guys on the bench who have not as much power, but can use the money a little bit more than the Chris Pauls. And that's where the owners take advantage of shit on these players because they're human beings at the end of the bench. The idea that the in-season tournament is something that matters because they're playing for money in the fringes for the little guy in that sport, the little guy. And that at the top of it, LeBron and KD would still, Stugotz, be fighting near the top of that sport after carrying us for 20 years through this sport. I do think we need to appreciate for a second what these human beings are doing. I know we've poisoned Kevin Durant. I know he is now bitter because of whatever the internet has done with him. And I know that LeBron is still corny dad, but he's also a science experiment unlike any we've ever seen. the idea that he's still doing stuff at the basket that out-physicals people 15 years younger than him is totally nuts. But I want to ask you within this, I want to play some Kevin Durant sound while we appreciate the fact that LeBron and KD are still great at this, and now we're having the discussion that they deserve, where, Kendrick Perkins is saying Kevin Durant is the greatest scorer ever. We're putting these people in the context. We spent 20 years saying this one's not as good as this one. Kevin Durant's not as good as this one, but they're two all-timers, Stugotz. And you've given Kevin Durant no rings. Mm-hmm. LeBron James has 4 of them and somehow is viewed as an underachiever. Like somewhere.
And you can see him trying to change the math. He did it with 1 title in Cleveland. And if he gets this new trophy that's invented, you kind of see that. Manifests itself on the screen in a game that feels way more important than an early December game should ever feel. So kudos to the NBA for this wonderful idea.
I'll give you that. He had a great game last night, had 5 steals, like he's into it, and certainly this has helped, okay? It's helped guys be more into regular season games than they normally would. But we're playing for Christian Wood, who's making $5 million a year. That's the thing behind this.
No, there are a lot of guys who aren't.
You, as a sports fan, should say that they're playing for a trophy, which should matter, and it doesn't have any kind of value or social currency right now. But through performances like LeBron's and Halliburton's, and seeing the emotion at the end of the bench, then this trophy will start mattering when you can attach emotional moments to them.
But it doesn't matter now. So winning an IST does not bring LeBron closer in terms of resume to Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan doesn't have one of those.
Can't wait for that to age into 2 or 3 in-season tournaments turning into rings. But the cool part has really been, like last night, LeBron James has this huge performance in a game that matters, and he says, I'm trying to defeat Father Time. Like, you get to have these type of moments and these type of quotes that only come from that playoff type atmosphere. And what you saw the other night in Indiana was a playoff atmosphere. It was spectacular to see how the end of that game went.
What we saw, Stugotz did not see.
I didn't see it, but I'm not going to allow you guys to give a win in game 20 of the regular season and make it like some sort of meaningful win.
The Indiana Pacers have 10 guys who make less than $3 million. They have 3 two-way contracts on the team. You saw the excitement from that bench.
I can understand why you're arguing that it's not the playoffs. It's not headed toward a championship ring. But to act like these games don't matter at all, when there's clearly an extra motivation behind them and the fan bases are leaning into it, where you're getting playoff-type basketball at this point. I think the reason why this is so exciting is normally because November and December don't matter in this way. People are only paying attention to the NFL. People are only paying attention to college football, and these games in the regular season aren't as relevant. Now these games matter in a way that has been so much fun to watch.
Phoenix is out. The Lakers are still in. And Stugotz, I am surprised. Okay, I'm not surprised that you're not watching, but I am surprised that we can't get you interested in the idea of these guys are pretty overtly playing for money. They're playing for extra money. I would think that if I put a TV show on hosted by any celebrity and people get to play for money, and I tell Stugotz that he could have an emotional interest involved in somebody winning more money and because the contestants care a little bit extra, I would think that that would be a game show that you would want to watch. Or in general, any game show like that gives away money. This is your wheelhouse. Here you have it in sports. Except it is offensive to the hardened sports fan. Really? I've got to give them more money to get the emotion out of them? I have to give them more money to get them to not load manage and not care, like not look like they don't care?
But it may be bigger than that. I might have to give them more money in this trophy to keep my superstars. By giving them moment. Look how Halliburton's bursting onto the scene. Look at the Pelicans, who are a play-in team presently, that since the moment he was drafted, felt like they were fighting for their life to keep Zion Williamson. They're in this Final Four now, and they'll actually have something at the end of the road, to a mark of progress, a piece of hardware to show Zion, it's working. Please buy in. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I hope that the NHL learns from it. There's a lot of NHL beat writers that are taking up this cause. Make the Winter Classic the big culmination of an in-season tournament. These are exciting things over in Europe, to have your little fledgling club be alive in something that actually matters. And I think you're seeing it in stories with Indiana and New Orleans.
I feel like we're turning Stugotz a little bit.
You're not. Make the playoffs. Do it there.
I saw your face. I was like, I think we broke him
a little. But they can't. No. They can't. Like, in all reality, it's going to be hard for Zion and the Pelicans to do something meaningful in the playoffs. I mean, really meaningful outside of the first round. Some of these teams can't do it in the playoffs, but they can do it here in these one-game samples. And I think that's going to be cool going forward.
And Tyrese Halliburton, he's the perfect example of this. He has become an NBA superstar in the last couple of weeks, where people have been like,
that
"Oh man,
would have happened anyway." Jeremy.
Really? No,
it would have happened anyway.
No one would have been watching the Indiana Pacers if not for these nationally televised games where they take down the Boston Celtics at the end of a game. He is playing spectacular basketball, but you know what? You would have just said, "Do it in the playoffs." Everybody would have just said, "Do it in the playoffs." Nobody pays attention to the regular season, and now in these couple of weeks, you've given him this platform to turn into the superstar that he rightfully deserves to be, and that is spectacular.
Has this expanded the audience? Are more people watching these games? Because
they got a million
Halliburton would have became a star anyway, guys.
Indiana Boston got over 1 million viewers going up against Monday Night Football,
Yes.
which is a good story to tell. Imagine if there weren't IST stakes on it, it would be a much lower number.
And you would have only had local broadcasts for it, right? Like, I work on a local broadcast. I'm grateful for the numbers that we get, but when you look at nationally televised games to build up the narratives for players that you're looking to establish all year long. Bam Adebayo, as we're always talking about, right? He's going to be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He doesn't get that love until there's a nationally televised game where he shuts somebody down. Tyrese Halliburton has taken advantage of this stage. He now gets to do it against the Bucks and Giannis. I mean, this is everything that we want at this time of the year. And to get it in the middle of the regular season, this has been a huge success.
Tony, why are you laughing? Are you playing to the camera there?
Yeah, I was playing to the camera.
It's a
Dan.
mask.
It was looking at me. So Chris has been talking in my ear like, "Hey, you're on camera." Nod. So when Mike was making a point, I would go like this.
Tell us how the sausage
Give away
is
the
made.
bit.
But then I looked up and I was like,
I know, but you distracted me.
"Oh, sorry."
No one cares about that.
Hey, it's Mike, and I want to motivate you to make Miller Lite a part of your football watching experience. Here's the pitch. It's got only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12-ounce serving. With a smooth taste and a crisp, clean finish, you get the taste that you crave without the calories. And, football fans, I can assure you, from personal experience, there is no other light beer, not on this wonderful planet of ours, that goes with football quite like Miller Lite. Make football time Miller time. No matter what team you're rooting for, there is one thing we can all agree on. Miller Lite and football bring us all together. So, I want you to take my advice and make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.